Ladies and gentlemen, the 35th Commandant of the United States Marine Corps, General James Amos.
What an absolutely wonderful evening. You have no idea how beautiful you all look standing up here looking down on you. And ladies and gentlemen, it's an honor for me to be able to recognize a great American patriot and hero and celebrate General P.X. Kelley. I consider it a privilege here to be among you as he is my mentor. I spoke at another event just shortly after I became the Commandant almost 3 years ago, and it was an event honoring P.X. Kelley, sponsored by Eureka College. Most of my staff, General Kelley, say that I have an awful lot of gray hair today, a lot more than I had 3 years ago, and they also commented that, quite frankly, you're looking younger every day. So I'm hoping that in about a year when I retire, I can actually begin the reverse aging process and look like you, General Kelley. I'd like to take just a few moments to talk about PX, as he's most commonly addressed by those that know him well, and talk about why he is admired by so many, by legions. General Kelley became the 28th Commandant of the Marine Corps on July the 1st, 1983. Now, I'd ask you that you come back with me, please, to the world of 1983, when General Kelley first began leading our Corps as its Commandant. The Cold War remained the largest threat to global stability, and tensions grew even greater when, within 2 months of General Kelley taking command of the Marine Corps, the Soviet Union shot down a Korean airliner carrying 269 souls. Less than 2 months later, at 0620 on October 23rd, terrorists drove a large truck loaded with explosives into Marine barracks at the Beirut International Airport in Lebanon, taking the lives of 241 of our precious Marines. 2 days after this attack, one of the worst days in Marine Corps history, Marines landed at Grenada during Operation Urgent Fury, which was our military's first ground offensive since Vietnam. In other places around the globe, there was a counterinsurgency struggle in Northern Ireland, and the Falkland Islands campaign was still fresh in everybody's mind. Across the Middle East, the specter of terrorism spawned from the Islamic Revolution of 1979 and continued to germinate like never before. And domestically, we had a growing epidemic of drugs across our great country. Through these difficult times, General Kelley led our nation's greatest fighting force with distinction and with courage that earned the respect of his Marines and his Commander-in-Chief as well. I've served as a Commandant now, as I said, for almost 3 years, and I've had to make some tough decisions during those 3 years. As a former Commandant, General Kelley set an example of leadership and dedication to the Corps that I have strived to emulate to this day. He has served as my mentor, as I said, for the 3 years that I have sat in this seat. I've been told to keep my remarks brief, because we have several people to recognize tonight, and I realize that I'm the only thing that stands between you and your salad. But I'd be remiss if I didn't share at least a story or two about those who served alongside of General Kelley. Most everyone is familiar with the uniquely strong relationship that General Kelley had with President Reagan. They even used to ride horses together in the trails of Quantico and in Washington, D.C. In the mid-1980s, when General Kelley was serving as the 28th Commandant, he made a trip to Tel Aviv, Israel. And while he was there, he took some time to speak to the Marine Security Guard detachment at the American Embassy. He was talking to 8 to 10 Marines when one of the embassy staff signaled to his aide that he had a phone call. The member said the White House was on the phone for General Kelley. The aide dutifully took the call. A few minutes later, the aide returned to where General Kelley was engaged with his Marines and said, "Sorry to interrupt you, sir, but the White House is on the line and President Reagan wants to speak to you." Without hesitation, General Kelley responded, "Give me about 10 to 15 more minutes with the troops. Tell him I'll call him back." The look on the faces of the Marines was priceless. When asked later, General Kelley said, "Oh, I know what he wants. He wants to talk about horseback riding on Saturday." I wanted those Marines to know that they came first. This is vintage General P.X. Kelley, a man that truly loved his Marines and to this day always puts them in front of himself. The second and last story I'd like to share with you happened just a couple of years later when earlier when General Kelley was the Assistant Commandant of the Marine Corps. As most will recall, the golden era for rebuilding our military came during the early to mid-1980s, during the Reagan buildup. Many of the Marine Corps' acquisitions during this period of time occurred when General Kelley served in key positions as he guided and directed these programs through the Pentagon and the halls of Congress. At that time, all branches of the military needed a replacement service rifle, a replacement for the M16A1 rifle. It had been in service by that time for nearly 20 years, with its deficiencies well known throughout its period of introduction in Vietnam. The Marine Corps led the way with the testing and the evolution of the new M16A2 service rifle. After rigorous testing, it was evident that it was the most effective combat rifle available. The M16A2 program was a model acquisition effort. The program was achieved well under budget and well under originally intended time frame. The only problem was that the U.S. Army was not convinced and did not intend to buy the new and improved M16A2. The night before making the announcement that there was a next service rifle for the Marine Corps, General Kelley got his final confirmation from our Research and Development Office that this was the right decision. He was prepared to act. Then he asked, "Where does the Army stand on this?" To his surprise, he was told the Army was not on board. He said, "Okay, get me Undersecretary Ambrose on the phone." Once on the line, General Kelley said, "Mr. Secretary, I just wanted to call and tell you that tomorrow morning, the Marine Corps is announcing that it is buying the finest service rifle available in the world today, the M16A2. I wanted to give you a heads up. I wanted you to hear it from me and not from some young soldier's mother calling from Topeka, Kansas, asking why her son, who is sitting on the front lines in Germany, potentially facing the Russian hordes, does not have as good a rifle as the United States Marines." Much to our surprise, later that night, the program officer got a call at 4 a.m. from his counterpart in the U.S. Army saying, "Bill, tell me what the unit cost is for that M16A2. I don't know what's changed, but I was called to coordinate a buy of the new M16A2. It will now be the service rifle for the United States Army." I think it's easy to see why P.X. Kelley is so loved by all of us. The stories go on and on. Ladies and gentlemen, General Kelley is an absolute hero to our Corps. We love him, we respect him, and we revere him. He's a man of courage, a man of integrity, and a great American patriot. General Kelley, on behalf of all Marines, past and present, at home and around the globe, that have served with you and that still serve today along your side, congratulations, God bless you, and Semper Fidelis.